I know we're in a crisis moment now, but we've got a lot coming up that's really
That's right.
great for the city. And I imagine you are going to be the person that's going to usher us into that, what I'll call kind of the golden age of Los Angeles with the Olympics and the World Cup. Talk about how exciting that is and looking to that future.
Well, absolutely. We want to keep our eyes on the prize right now, which is rebuilding Palisades. But rebuilding Palisades also, I think, is going to inspire all of us to prepare for what's next. So everybody talks about the Olympics in 2028. The reality is the World Cup is next year. We're just a year and 3 months away from the World Cup.
Wow. And you obviously will be the mayor.
Yes.
When all of that
Will be there.
happens. Okay, Mayor Bass, what would you say to those in the media, some select civic leaders who have been questioning your response to the devastating fires?
Well, you know, I think in the beginning, everybody wanted me to get in there and mix it up. And I wasn't going to do that because the most important things was to put the fires out, to keep Angelino safe. And what I said to everybody, happy to go into whatever detail you want to go to when we've achieved 100% containment.
Well, we're there now because
We
at this
are
press
there.
conference you said 100% containment. So does that mean now that we're going to see a different side of
Yes.
Mayor Bass?
Yeah, well, what you're going to see is I am used to doing lots of interviews, lots of media, and you will see now that we have moved into the rebuilding phase.
Well, I'm excited that I get to be amongst the first that you're
Yes.
doing the interview with.
Of course you would be.
You've met so many people. I've seen you out talking to families. I've seen you consoling people. Any stories stick out in your mind of survivors?
Yes, especially those survivors who lost their homes and their parents lost their homes. And unfortunately, most of the parents are very, very elderly. And so the question is, do you invest in rebuilding or do you do something different if you're 86 or 95? And then also the children, where they lost their friends in the sense that when the house is burnt, then everybody, disperses. And so the idea of that type of loss and grief for a child has to be profound. Moving into the rebuilding and recovery phase, I'm happy to say that next week we will open up a one-stop place where anyone who has been affected by the fires can go and get their building permits and all of that in one location.
Well, I have to tell you, one of the things you said in the press conference that really resonated with me, reporters were asking questions about city council people and the developer that you appointed to lead some of the rebuilding, but you said, I'm in charge of this rebuilding effort.
Let me just explain. The person that's in charge is here, me. That's the person that's in charge.
Right.
And can you just say that again? Because I think a lot of people, they see all these private groups that are happening. They see these organizations that are springing up, private philanthropic organizations, which seem great.
Absolutely.
And you've said you welcome all this help.
Absolutely.
But I think people just need to hear who's in charge.
Well, first of all of the philanthropic and outside efforts are invaluable and are very common after a disaster. Everyone wants to get involved. Everyone wants to help. I welcome that. I look forward to collaborating with them. But at the end of the day, I'm responsible. I'm in charge of the city. And the rebuilding process is one that happens under city authority.
And you are Madam Mayor. Any last minute any additional things you want to just say to folks who may be a little uneasy, who are still like, oh my God, LA is never going to be rebuilt, and are thinking that this is going to somehow, change this beautiful city?
Well, that is the value of history. Because if you look back, we have experienced devastating disasters, man-made and natural, before. The earthquake in '94, the civil unrest in '92, and look at us now. That's why a lot of people do not value history. We learn from history. And I know that LA will come back and LA will move forward stronger and better.
LA strong.
LA strong.
LA strong. All right. Thank you so much, Mayor.
You are very welcome.
Such great work.
Thank you.
Love it.